On April 11th, something happened in the deserts of Saudi Arabia that almost every major news outlet ignored. Pakistani fighter jets, among the most advanced jets in Asia, quietly landed at King Abdulaziz Air Base in Saudi Arabia's eastern province. No press conference, no public announcement, no viral headlines, just 18 aircraft, support crews, and a signal so loud that the entire Gulf heard it, even in silence. This is the story. And by the end of this video, you'll understand why it changes everything. Let's start with what actually showed up. 18 JF-17 Block 3 Thunder jets, Pakistan's crown jewel in air combat. These aren't old machines. These are cutting-edge multi-role fighters developed jointly with China, equipped with AESA radar, advanced electronic warfare systems, and the PL-15E missile, capable of hitting targets nearly 145 kilometers away. Alongside them, C-130, Hercules transport planes, and IL-78 aerial refueling tankers. This isn't a symbolic gesture. This is a fully operational, combat-ready deployment, and those 18 jets, they're part of a wider Pakistani military presence in Saudi Arabia, estimated at around 13,000 personnel, reinforcing forces already stationed there. The location matters too. King Abdulaziz Air Base sits right next to Dhahran, the heart of Saudi Arabia's eastern province oil infrastructure, the most strategically sensitive patch of land in the entire Gulf. So why now? And what gives Pakistan the authority to do this? On September 17, 2025, Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif and Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman signed a landmark strategic mutual defense agreement in Riyadh. The terms are stark and simple. Any attack on one nation is treated as an attack on both. This isn't just a memorandum of understanding. This is an operational military alliance with teeth. Pakistan and Saudi Arabia have had deep military ties for decades. Joint training, intelligence sharing, PAF, pilots training Saudi counterparts. But this agreement elevates that relationship to a completely new level. It transforms what was once an informal friendship into a formal security architecture. Now let's talk about the jet itself, because the choice of aircraft tells you everything about Pakistan's intentions. The JF-17 Block 3 is Pakistan's most advanced combat aircraft and one of the most capable jets in Asia. Its AESA radar can track multiple targets simultaneously while remaining nearly invisible to enemy electronic countermeasures. Its combat radius, nearly 900 kilometers, means it can patrol the entire eastern province of Saudi Arabia without constant mid-air refueling, and the PL-15E missiles it carries. They're in the same performance class as the American AIM-120D. That means any adversary flying into Saudi airspace would face a serious, beyond visual range threat from the moment they cross the horizon. By deploying the Block 3 specifically, Pakistan isn't just offering warm bodies. It's offering a genuine, technologically advanced deterrence capability. To understand why Saudi Arabia wanted this deployment, you need to understand how exposed the kingdom actually is. Saudi Arabia's eastern province isn't just important. It's the economic heartbeat of the entire country. Aramco's critical facilities, the world's largest oil processing plant at Upcast, offshore platforms in the Gulf, all of it sits within easy striking distance of Iranian forces. And we've already seen what that looks like. Iranian missile and drone strikes on Gulf energy infrastructure in recent years have demonstrated that Saudi defenses, despite billions spent on American systems, still have gaps. Enter the Pakistan Air Force. With battle-tested pilots, proven desert operations experience, and high-endurance jets already in position, the PAF fills a real hole in Saudi Arabia's air defense architecture. This isn't theoretical. It's a direct response to a documented threat. Here's where it gets truly fascinating, and where Pakistan's foreign policy becomes genuinely impressive or genuinely risky, depending on how you look at it. On the same days that Pakistani jets were landing in Saudi Arabia, Islamabad was hosting high-level ceasefire negotiations between the United States and Iran. Read that again. Pakistan was simultaneously helping to arm Saudi Arabia against Iran, while trying to broker peace between Iran and America. Pakistani officials insist the deployment is purely defensive. They say it's about regional stability, not about taking sides. But Tehran is watching, and the message is impossible to ignore. Pakistan's commitment to Saudi security is no longer theoretical. It's operational. The question is whether Iran will see this as provocation, or whether Pakistan's dual role actually gives it unique leverage as a trusted go-between. Iranian officials have stayed largely quiet on the deployment so far. But quiet doesn't mean unconcerned. Tehran's calculus is complicated. Pakistan is not an enemy of Iran. The two share a long border, trade ties, and religious connections. Iran has no desire to make an adversary of Islamabad, but Pakistan just placed advanced fighter jets within range of Iranian territory, aligned with Iran's primary regional rival. The most likely Iranian response isn't military. It's diplomatic pressure, leveraging its relationship with Pakistan to push back against any further escalation, and perhaps using the ongoing US-Iran talks as a forum to send quiet signals. The fragile ceasefire that Pakistan was helping to broker ended without a breakthrough. Tensions remain, and 18 fighter jets parked near Dhahran make the next flashpoint a great deal more consequential. This deployment isn't just a one-time response to a crisis. It's a signal about where Pakistan's military strategy is heading. Sources close to the matter suggest active discussions about expanded joint training programs, regular exercises between PAF and Royal Saudi Air Force units, and, potentially, arms sales. Saudi Arabia buying JF-17 Block 3 jets would be a massive deal. It would deepen the bilateral relationship, generate revenue for Pakistan's defense industry, and give Riyadh a cost-effective complement to its American and European fleet. For Pakistan, this represents something broader: military diplomacy as a tool of national power. Rather than being a country that simply receives aid, Pakistan is positioning itself as a provider of real security guarantees to wealthy Gulf partners. That's a significant shift, and it has implications for Pakistani foreign policy well beyond the Arabian Peninsula. Step back and look at the full picture. The Gulf is anxious. American commitment to the region feels less certain than it did a decade ago. Saudi Arabia is modernizing rapidly, but knows its vulnerabilities. Iran remains a capable, determined adversary. Into this environment steps Pakistan, a nuclear power, a professional military with real combat experience, and a nation that has maintained relationships across the Gulf's sectarian and political divides. The deployment of these jets is a symbol of that positioning. It says, Pakistan is reliable. Pakistan shows up. Pakistan's word means something. Energy. Security depends on stability in the Gulf. The world's oil supply routes, shipping lanes, and economic lifelines run through these waters. Any miscalculation here doesn't just affect Saudi Arabia and Iran, it affects petrol prices in London, supply chains in Tokyo, and economies across South Asia. Pakistan has just placed itself at the center of that equation. Pakistan's fighter jets in Saudi Arabia are not just aircraft. They are a statement, a statement that Pakistan's role in the region has fundamentally changed. That military diplomacy is now a core instrument of Pakistani foreign policy, and that the Gulf's security architecture is being redrawn, quietly, professionally, and with formidable hardware. Whether this deployment becomes the model for a permanent Pakistani military footprint in the Gulf, or remains a measured response to this moment, the calculus in the region has already shifted. The Gulf is watching. The world should be too. If this video gave you a clearer picture of what's really happening, hit like, subscribe, and drop your thoughts in the comments below. I'll see you in the next one.